Ladies and gentlemen, now thanks to our Alliance member Chatch33, we've got an exclusive look at a fully maxed out version of Silver Surfer. This man got ridiculously lucky and got Silver Surfer. He's now awakened him, taken him up to rank 5, and also put 183 signature levels in this man. So this Silver Surfer isn't fully maxed out, but you know, he's quite close, man, quite close. And Chatch has been kind enough as well to record several fights in Realm of Legends, and also an Axe as well that we are after. So yeah, we got a little bit of a Silver Surfer early showcase here today to have a look at how good this champion is. So you got to keep in mind as well, Chatch only got Silver Surfer a few hours ago, and this champion is very new. He's quite different in terms of his rotation as well. So there are probably a fair few fights in here that aren't like super optimal, or maybe the rotation could be improved, but that's always found out through like, you know, weeks and weeks of practicing and playing around with champions. But just keep that in mind, this champion might be even better than some of the stuff that we're seeing today. Now, before recording this, I've reviewed all of the footage he sent over, and I must say, like, I quite like Silver Surfer, man. I think he really does shine a little bit more in the Act 6 matchups, where he can burst opponents down with a couple of special 2s, but even in stuff like Realm of Legends, he seems to be pretty decent. Like, he's not noodle tier, but I don't think he's, like, beyond god tier absolutely insane either, because it looks like you need to get all of your buffs, and then kind of build up to special 2s and drill those in, and then use the activation of the power gain to refresh all of your other buffs. So that kind of seems to be the rotation with Silver Surfer. So there's definitely, you know, a fair bit going on with this champion. But you can see here, he's come out the special 3. He's got the aptitude buff from that. So now what he wants to do, I assume, is get the power gain buff. So he fires off the special 1 here. So that gives him all of his buffs and also refreshes the aptitude, the fury, and also the armor. And now I think he's trying to build up to the special 2 now that he's got all of the buffs, so the special 2 can deal maximum damage. So you can see here, goes straight into a 5 combo special 2, and every single hit on that man was like, what is it, 5,000 and a bit like additional damage there. So like, it's a pretty hard hitting special 2. Again, nothing like Sunspot special 2 or Namor's special 2, but some really good damage output. He then fires off a special 1 to refresh the power gain, and also all of his buffs as well, just so he can end this fight. Maybe it might have been better, kind of looking at the health pool, just to go to a special 2 there. But yeah, another special 2, plenty of overkill on Winter Soldier, but 142 hits for a fully maxed out 5-star with suicides. You know, it's alright, it's not the best. I think it was just over like 2 and a bit minutes in terms of the kill time as well. But I must say, watching this footage is making me crazy jealous that I don't even have a 3-star version to do a gameplay video on. He just looks like so much fun. And also, one thing to note as well is when it does come to the hit counter, his hit counter seems to be inflated a little bit, because his final medium is like this board spin around, and it has 2 hits to it as well. So, you know, just keep that in mind if you're looking at the combo counter as well. That is slightly more stacked up, probably by about, you know, 10 to 12% there overall. Here it looks like he's looking for a good opportunity to special 1 and get that fury buff to also refresh the power gain as well. Unfortunately, she did block it there, but I think the good thing, as we could see there, is Silver Surfer, like, he still maintains his distance on the special 1, so you can, like, throw it at a distance and then not have to worry, like, as much about being immediately punished. So he fires off the 3rd special 1 to get the armor up buffs, and now is a race to the special 3 to get the aptitude. So yeah, goes straight in for a 5 combo there, trying to play very aggressively, just trying to build that up so he can enhance the effectiveness of all the buffs, and that's especially going to be very useful for the power gain and fury. So he smashes out that special 3, also the 20% bonus damage. This man is on a mission right now. So yeah, that amazing special 3, bro. Honestly, what even is that special 3, lads? He just blows up. Is it the sun? Is it a world? He blows up something, and it's really cool. But you can see now, I think he's racing up to the special 2 because he's got all of the buffs active currently. So another 5 combo, I would imagine, straight into the special 2, or 6 combo, should I say. And you can see every single hit had about 4,600 additional damage there. And I don't believe that damage on the special 2 is like modified by the suicide masteries. I think it's like just your base attack. So I really don't think Silver Surfer, despite this man using the suicide masteries, Silver Surfer, he really doesn't seem like a champion that is friendly to the suicide masteries at all. It just seems like, yeah, a way to die very quickly when it does come to Silver Surfer. But he goes for another parry, straight into a 5 combo, straight into a special 2, and that Captain Marvel goes down with a glorious 20k on the end of that. Honestly, I thought that was a pretty good takedown. 120 hits, like factoring in the 6 combo as well. I think that's about, 100, 105 hits without that. So yeah, certainly not too bad. I don't think that's quite as good as like Captain Marvel movie. However, it's not too far off. Now, next up, I asked Chach to take him against a couple of fights that I wanted to see him tested and showcased in against Act 6.3, just because there are like giant training dummy fights that you can just like get into very, very easily. So the first one is the Vulture matchup, and this is in the, I think, Havoc chapter of 6.3, the very first fight. So, it's just like essentially another Realm of Legends big training dummy opponent here. But this, gives you an idea of how this champion is going to fare against Act 6 health pools. So against this Vulture, Silver Surfer has built up all of his buffs, and I think he's trying to build up, I don't know if he's going to go for Special 2 or Special 3. I think, like, considering the health and the damage that comes off the Special 2, I think at this point, yeah, it's got to be Special 2, man. So he actually goes for a heavy there, because Silver Surfer, that actually does remind me, he does have a heavy attack mechanic. So if you have your, the Power Cosmic buff active, which is the buff that you convert into other buffs, then you can use that if you don't need it for buffs to throw a heavy attack and also phase at the same time for like 1 and a bit seconds. So I think that maybe has some circumstantial uses, because I don't think it's safe to throw when your opponent like has a special attack, but when they don't have a special attack, I think it's a way to combo on. But I also think like a lot of the time you probably want to use that buff to refresh the power gain anyway. Regardless, Silver Surfer, he hit pretty hard toward the end of that once he was like fully built up, even without the aptitude buff there. And then we've got Silver Surfer without class advantage against a fairly vanilla champion as well, just Psylocke here. So I think he's probably going to go for a similar strategy. I assume he's waiting for the armor there. Oh no, he's not waiting for the armor. He just goes straight up to a Special 2, straight drilling in, just for 2 buffs there. That was still 3,000 damage on every single hit. So certainly, not too bad at all. He doesn't have any additional buffs now aside from the Fury, but the Fury is a big Fury, especially with the Awakened ability. As we were looking at the, early full abilities yesterday, fires off another Special 2, and that Psylocke is down. So yeah, that was a pretty sick matchup against Psylocke, man. Just a very, very quick way to cut through about 300,000 hit points there. And then we got the final 2 fights, so we need to give some mad love to Chach as well, because he has spent a lot of time this evening doing fights for myself and also doing fights for Legacy on his channel, man. He did a Labyrinth of Legends Star-Lord battle on Legacy's channel, so if you want to check that out, Legacy has that live. But yeah, I wanted to see some fights outside of Labyrinth of Legends, because, Labyrinth is definitely a thing for testing out champions' damage ramp-up potential, but the health pools are so exponentially big that if a champion is good in Labyrinth of Legends or not, doesn't really matter for the majority of the game, but it's a really good indicator as to champion ramp-up. And watching, the Labyrinth gameplay, it wasn't like the most impressive, and I don't think Silver Surfer is anywhere near the Beyond God tier, but I think this champion is at the bare minimum, kind of from what I've seen so far today, a high demigod tier champion. There seems to be a lot of intricacy to the way that you play him in the rotation, and Chach isn't really weaving in heavy attacks there. I don't really know if like it's good to weave in heavy attacks or like when you can, but maybe there's a way that you can make this champion's damage shine a lot more if you properly integrate heavy attacks a little bit further into the rotation. So yeah, I'm so excited to hopefully get my hands on this character in like a week and a bit's time, man, because we just had a terrible time in the Silver Surfer access bundles. Now, the final fight I got Chach to record for me was a very stacked version of Iceman, so it's pretty convenient that Red Skull and also Iceman line up in that 6.3 path. So this basically shows that Silver Surfer is actually completely immune to Cold Snap damage, and while he has the Cold Snap at the start of the fight, he also deals like additional energy damage per hit there, so he doesn't like get rid of it. All the damage from the start was from the fact that Chach is running the Suicide Masteries. It was the bleed, but Surfer seems to be a pretty decent Iceman counter. Like the armor breaks, if timed correctly, I guess could get rid of the ice armor as well, so that's certainly not too bad, but he's shredding Iceman, and kind of the main thing, and really the only thing you need in the Iceman matchup, is just some solid damage and also a way to survive that initial Cold Snap, and if you can do it, that man is straight in the bin. Some of these Icemen, especially in Act 6.2 and 6.3, are just so stacked that if you do not not have a cold snap immune champion, your champion is just going to die within like 5 seconds. The attack, honestly, is so ridiculous. So, you know, we've seen all these crazy Icemen knocking about. It's always nice to have another champion that can avoid all of that fun and interactive damage. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, mad love to Chatch for sending over all this awesome Silver Surfer Rank 5 gameplay, and if you did enjoy it, please do smash that like button and send him some love in the comments section below. But aside from that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching this early peek at Silver Surfer. Take care, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day.